Hello, my name is Dhananjay Kumar and welcome to yet another episode of Windows Phone 7 learning series. In today's episode, I'll show you how to work with WrapPanel in Windows Phone 7. I am going to cover three topics in this episode. In first part, I'll show you some basic use of WrapPanel. Then we will move to working with WrapPanel and ScrollViewer. And in the last part of the episode, I'll be showing you how we can work with ListBox and WrapPanel together. WrapPanel comes as a part of Silverlight for Windows Phone Toolkit. You can get the toolkit from silverlight.codeplex.com. Here it is available in both version 7 and Windows Phone 7.1. Go ahead and download the toolkit from this site. On downloading, you should get the Silverlight for Phone Toolkit.msi. Go ahead and run that. It is checking for the system requirements. Accept the agreement and click on Install to install the toolkit on your machine. I have created a Windows Phone 7 project, and on this page we will be seeing the basic uses of WrapPanel. To work with WrapPanel or any controls which is part of Silverlight for Windows Phone 7 toolkit, you need to add a reference of the toolkit DLL. So to do so, right click on your reference in Solution Explorer and click on Add Reference. Then in the Assemblies, click on Extensions tab, and here you can choose Microsoft.phone.controls.toolkit and add this reference to your project. It got added. Here in the reference you can see Microsoft.phone.controls.toolkit got added. We have added the reference. Now next, to work with a WrapPanel control, we need to add a namespace in the YAML. So to do so, go to the YAML. Here, if you right click on the YAML and do View Designer, you can go to the designer and then right click here and say View YAML. You can go to the YAML. So here what I am doing, adding the namespace and giving some name. If you want, you can give ABC as name as well. I'm giving toolkit, and once you press equal to, you can get all the assembly which is part of this project to choose. Here you can see Microsoft.phone.controls. Just add that, and in this way, at the second step, you need to add the namespace of the toolkit. So far we have added the namespace here. We have added the reference here. Now next, we are all set to work with WrapPanel and use WrapPanel control on our page. Very first, what I am doing, I am giving some meaningful name here. WrapPanel as the app title and the page title. And now if you go to grid here, let's first go ahead and rebuild the solution once. And here you get the success message. Then to work with WrapPanel, you need to use toolkit. Since this is the namespace name we gave here, toolkit, and after colon you can use, here you can see WrapPanel is being shown by the IntelliSense. And now you can use WrapPanel in this way. Now what next I'll be doing, I'll put some rectangle control inside the WrapPanel to see how it renders on the page. Now let us go ahead and put some control inside the WrapPanel. Here is our WrapPanel. Set some basic properties like flow direction. It says that whether you want controls to be placed inside the WrapPanel from left to right or right to left. I'm choosing left to right, and this is the default one. And inside the wrap panel I'm putting like some rectangles. I have set some basic properties of rectangle like their height, width and color. Now this rectangle as the expected output should be wrapped from left to right inside the wrap panel. Let us go ahead and run it to see how the output is. On running you see that rectangles are wrapped in the wrap panel like this. But if you see, we are not able to scroll it, and we have 1 2 3 4 5 rows, means we are only able to see 10 rectangles, whereas if you go back to code and you see we have 16 rectangles here. So ideally we should able to scroll this to see all the controls inside the wrap panel, which we are not able to do. So to scroll it through all the controls inside wrap panel, we need to put wrap panel inside a scroll viewer. To put a wrap panel inside a scroll viewer, go ahead to your designer and do scroll viewer and make vertical scroll visibility to auto. So what I have done here is I have put the wrap panel inside a scroll viewer, and I have set the vertical scroll bar visibility of a scroll viewer as auto. Now let us again go ahead and run to see how it works. Now you can see you are able to scroll the wrap panel since we have put it inside the scroll viewer. So in this way you can work with a scroll viewer and wrap panel together. Now I'll show you how to work with wrap panel and a list box. To create some data for list box item, what I have done, I have created a class called a student here with a one property name, and then I have added a function called getDummyData here, which is returning 26 students here. It is just creating a list of a student and returning it. We are going to bind this list of a student returned by this getDummyData function to the list box. So in the code behind we have this one class and one function which is returning dummy data. In the design, create a list box. Let us call it LST students. Then put a list box dot items panel. Then put items panel template, and inside that Toolkit wrap panel. So what I have done here, I have created a list box here, then I have put a items panel and then items panel template, and inside that I have put Toolkit wrap panel. Next what I am going to have is a button control which is wrapping from left to right in the wrap panel inside a list box. So what I have done, I am just templatizing the list box item template and put a data template here. Then inside a stack panel I have put a button. I have given a name to the button. Then as a content of the button I put a stack panel. Its orientation is vertical, and put two control inside that. One is image, which is set to fixed image application icon.jpg, which is part of the project already, and setting width and height. And then a text block which is getting bind on the runtime to the name properties of a student class and setting width as 100. Now if you come to code behind here, you can see that we have name property of the class student, and this is a dummy data which is returning 26 students. So last step what we need to do, in the constructor we can still lst students dot item source equal to get dummy data. So as the output we should have 26 buttons with image in the list box, inside a wrap panel on the page. So let us go ahead and run it to see how it works. So here on running you can see 26 buttons with image are wrapped from left to right. So this is how you can work with WrapPanel and ListBox together. So in today's episode we saw how to work with WrapPanel, how to work with WrapPanel and ScrollViewer, and how we can work together with WrapPanel and ListBox. I hope this video is useful to you. Looking forward to see you again. Thank you so much.